Hello, everyone.
Hi
Thank you for
guys.
thank you for joining us. If you are with us, can you pop a comment in the comment box just to let us know that you are with us, that you can see us, that we are live. We are thrilled to be chatting with you here on day one of the Thriving in the First Year Summit. It has been a super exciting day so far, and we are just really excited to see so many of you joining us. Before we really get started on this live, we have a little confession. You can't see Kaylee's tummy right there. Actually, wait, before we even talk about that, I think we need to introduce ourselves. So, Kaylee, why don't you show the tummy? Why don't you start by introducing yourselves and then we'll talk about the live.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Oh, I love all of today's speakers. Some of them are like internet friends that I've made over the past couple years. I am Kaylee Noland. I'm a pediatric physical therapist and a mama to two, almost three. And I live in the Kansas City area. I'm a co-host of the summit, and I'm just so excited that you're here, and we cannot wait to hear what your takeaways are from today's speakers.
Absolutely. And if I haven't met you before, my name is Holly Peretz. I'm a pediatric occupational therapist and the co-host of the summit. I run another summit and possibly a few more summits coming up. Just really passionate about equipping therapists and educators that work with children and families that work with children, and just doing the best by our kids. So we are so thrilled that we get to start off today and have this live and bring together again these thoughts of just how can we do better for our kids, and really raise a nation of children, a generation of children, not a nation, because we're multi-international here. A generation of children that really thrive. So I did mention that we have something to share in terms of the live. So we are here with you in the comment box. We can see all of your comments coming through. We are live with you and we will be for the time that is here. But actually, we have pre-recorded this video because, as Kaylee showed us, she is well into her pregnancy, and according to if dates go right and everything, as the time that the summit is on, there should be a little baby in her arms. So we wanted to just
Yes.
honor that time that she has with her baby. So we're recording these live. We've already done all of the interviews. Everything for the summit is wrapped up on our side. We wanted to come together and have a space where you can put your questions in, where we can show you some of the sponsors for today's live, and also just kind of summarize some of the things that we've been learning and hearing about throughout the day. So welcome and thank you for being here. We do want to hear your questions. So if you have any questions about something that you've heard today, if you have any takeaways, any thoughts that you want to share, come and drop them in the comment box. We would love to hear. We'd also love to know where you are coming from. So make sure to come and drop that in the comment box. And I think with that, we should probably talk about what our topic is today. So for today, we're going to be kind of running through looking at changes and milestones, and do these affect the way that we treat children or the way that we think about how children develop? What does it change? What doesn't it change? That's what we're going to be chatting about. But before that, we do want to share a little bit about our sponsors for the day. So Kaylee, you can take this part away.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing that. Like Holly said, I really, as much as I would love to be there live, and there is a chance, you never know, that I could have been. Really, the goal of this whole summit is to help us emphasize and understand that a child's development and their nurturing is about so much more than just the child. It's about the family and the family's thriving. And, this time around, I'm really focused on trying to honor that postpartum period. That's such a tender time where so much, especially I think in the US, so much of us feel that pressure to immediately bounce back and jump back and dive back in. And I'm really working to not do that. So I'm excited to be able to see your guys' comments, if I'm able, in real time on the live. I think the excitement of the summit, I will be there no matter what. But I have to say that my brain fog will probably be a lot better today than it would be if I had a 1 week old. I'm due about a week before the summit, which was not planned. Holly and I landed on the date before I got pregnant. So I'm trusting that it will all work out. But I'm so excited to share today's sponsor. It's a company that's near and dear to my heart, and they are the Upseat. And so the Upseat was developed by a team of physical therapists, actually, to create a more ergonomic infant seat. So a lot of the physical therapists are probably thinking, well, babies don't need infant seats, but we also know that parents often decide to purchase them anyway. And we can't get to everyone and say, you really don't need an infant seat. You don't need like a bumbo or sit me up. But many parents feel that this is a necessary item. And so I love that the upseat provides an opportunity to give them a better option. And so this is so durable, so easy to wipe clean. I'm showing it with the tray off. We used this with my last little guy and I loved it. It actually fits kids up to 2 years of age, which in my clinical practice was huge because a lot of kids needed more support over time. They needed a place that they could sit, but it didn't necessarily need to be a baby seat, so to speak. And so this did actually fit my little guy up to 2 and fit many of my patients for getting up into that 2-year age range, as long as it came up high enough on their back. And so you can see here, these leg holes are really nice and wide. They're spread out at an angle that we know is optimal for hip development. So we're not getting that really narrow positioning of their hips and legs in their seat. They're really well supported. They have a nice wide base of support whenever they're working on sitting. And then it also has a decline to the seat here, which promotes that upright posture that we know to be crucial for having optimal functioning of their upper extremities and sitting, and not putting them in that curved, rounded posture, which is so interesting. This means then that babies probably can't use it as early as they could use something like a bumbo or sit me up, because they're not just curled into that C curve position. It means that more likely than not, a parent is going to be able to utilize this when baby is actually ready to use an infant seat. And so this does have a really nice large tray that goes and wraps around the baby when they're sitting in the seat. Love, love, love this. But I also wanted to show you, they've come out with a new and improved version of their Upseat Boost, which is a booster seat. The one that we originally had was just this gray part. And it was difficult, I'll be honest, for when we wanted to transition to a booster seat. We felt like it just wasn't quite high enough. And so they've added this additional 3 inches that is removable. So you can use this for even longer. This booster seat is kind of the same concept. It's got that decline, nice decline to the seat to where it promotes that upright posture. So they're in a really good position when they're eating or playing at the table, working with manipulatives, whatever it may be. But I love this company. I have used them for many, many years, both at home and in the clinic. And we're just so honored that they have decided to sponsor today's live.
Yeah, we're so honored. And those products are just so beautiful. So thank you for also sharing, Kaylee. Do you want to tell everyone, because we have a prize for today. Do you want to tell them if they comment and let us know that they're here, what will they win?
Yes.
Potentially.
So today, one winner is going to walk away with the Upseat, and one winner is going to walk away with the Upseat Boost. And we're super, super excited to be giving those away so that you can utilize them, whether it be for your own child or for your kiddos in the clinic. What you have to do to enter to win is comment below this live to let us know that you're here. Bonus points if you let us know like your favorite takeaway from one of today's speakers or multiple speakers from today. We love to hear those things because we love to know how you are going to take this information and put it into action in your life moving forward. So comment of some sort, bonus points for if you comment your key takeaway, and then make sure you're following the Upseat on Instagram as well. And we'll make sure that we have their handle in that Instagram link below.
Yes, absolutely. So exciting. So go and do those things, and we'll be announcing our prize winner in 24 hours on the same YouTube thread. So we're keeping everything here on YouTube. Comment down on the live thread. You'll see like a comment box. Just comment there. And then we will announce also here. So make sure that if you see your name tagged, you come and check that out. We do want to also just clarify that this live is a time for us to kind of connect with you and learn with you and share our thoughts, but this is not included in your professional development hours. So if you are a professional that is joining us and you are wanting to get those accredited CEUs, that is all of the information and things that are within the course body. So this is just for fun. And with that, I think we should kind of get to what we are going to be talking about today. So let me just run through, in case you didn't get a chance to see today's speakers. let me run through who our speakers are today. We have Dr. Jenna Schultz, and she is talking about torticollis and total body restriction. We have Dr. Amy Conrad, who's talking about mastering first-year well visits. First-year well visits, yeah. Brooke Boruff is talking about avoiding the helmet naturally, and Emily Hills and Lindsay Hardy are talking about nurturing baby senses. And Deborah McNellis is talking about the importance of the first 60 days of baby's brain. Such interesting. You ran all of these interviews, Kaylee, so I know you were so interested by them.
Yes, I felt totally selfish, especially with baby on the way. Even though it's my third, gosh, the wisdom that these women were sharing was so incredible. And I'm just really, really excited for everyone to hear the entire summit because I feel like as a clinician, we're in different stages. So either we're right in the thick of motherhood and all this stuff may feel like a repeat or a refresh, or it may be entirely new information to us that we can then use with our own family and our patients moving forward. Or when I really would have loved this kind of a summit was when I wasn't a mom yet and I had no clue what parents were facing or how to speak into that or how to acknowledge those things or understand those things when I was developing a treatment plan or when I was engaging with the parents that I was serving. And then I also had colleagues that were well beyond their young toddler baby motherhood years and kind of the same thing. Even now, it's been almost 6 years since I had our first, and so much has changed. The entire face of motherhood, I feel like, has changed, and all the products and things that people recommend, and the research that's come out, and all the experts. So we just really feel like this is going to be such a valuable week, no matter where you are, what stage you're at in motherhood or in your clinical profession. We're just so excited to hear how this impacts your practice.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it really is an honor for us because I think, like you said, so much has changed just in the last like 6 years. I think also there's something about the baby years that it's just like you learn so much in such a short time that it's almost like a mist, just like passes over
Mm.
you and then you're like onto the next section. But it's there is just so much change that's happened like since the last 5, 10 years and social media, the dynamics of how we approach knowledge and information has really, really shifted. And this, of course, really impacts how we understand children and babies specifically. So we are going to be kind of delving into today some of the changes in thinking around milestones or how milestones are monitored and what does this actually mean for parents in that are with babies right now, but then also for us as clinicians. So Kaylee, I don't know, do you want to like just give us a little summary on what happened in the last couple of years in terms of the CDC's policy around milestones?
Yeah. So an interesting caveat too is I wonder how this all would have gone down if we didn't have social media. Because immediately, as soon as those AAP guidelines changed for the milestones, parents knew and they were feeling scared and frustrated and confused. And on one side, they're getting this information, on another side, they're getting another. And, I think it was just really interesting to watch and be a part of because I think we were all trying to do our part in helping to educate parents, but I think obviously change is really hard for everyone. And so, I think the positives of the changes with the guidelines are that they were changed in an attempt to stop this whole watch and wait mentality, right? So they were shifted to where if 75% of babies are meeting a milestone, then that is the marker. So if a child is not meeting that milestone at that time, that means they're in that kind of rear end, for lack of a better term, lower 25%, where we know, okay, with certainty, I can refer. And what I think is the really, really positive thing is that I hope that clinicians, specifically pediatricians, start to see that and stop questioning themselves or wondering what they should do and just saying, yep, we're gonna refer. So I think that's great. There's going to be a lot more confident referrals. One of the other big things was that crawling was removed as a milestone. And, without getting into too much of that, just basically they said that they did not have enough research to support that it needed to be a milestone marker. Not enough kids do crawl or need to crawl. Some skip to walking, which many of us know. And so I think that was a big point of frustration for clinicians. But like you said, that doesn't change how we approach things, right? And
Mhm.
that doesn't mean we have to fight and go head to head with pediatricians. It just means that we can then say, okay, yep, that was a change that happened. Here are all the research based reasons why I, as a PT or an OT or whatever it may be, feel that crawling is still really important and something
Mhm.
that we want to work on in our therapy sessions or in the time that we have together. So those were two of the major changes. And then, I think on the flip side of shifting some of those milestones back, it can be difficult because it can feel like, oh no, kids are going to get missed. Kids are going to not get the support that they need as early as they need it. And I think that is just where we need to continue as clinicians to be working with our local providers, our local pediatricians, to educate them on, okay, how can we meet in the middle? How can we compromise? What are some of the things that are non-negotiables for us that we've got to get these kids in sooner? So something that I just think of in my mind is torticollis and
Mhm.
plagiocephaly, which is one of the topics of today's talks, or actually two. I think Jenna and Brooke both
Mhm.
are talking about this, and just really educating them on, okay, here's where we feel like we can maybe compromise and go up to that 75 percentile point, but here's where we also feel like at the first sign that you see a baby showing a directional preference, or the first sign you see some of that flatness, we need to be getting babies into care and not watching and waiting.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just want to clarify for anyone that is listening and is like, what happened? I missed the milestones. What's talking about? So we use milestones, which are kind of like markers, in order to know if a baby is developing along a normative trajectory. And often these are the things that we will use as signs to gauge whether a child would benefit from some extra support. And so I think was it last year or the year before? It was 2021 that it happened. Or
Yeah,
20,
I think so. The years are blurring.
but there
I
was a
don't remember.
recent change basically in the CDC, the Center of Disease Control, and the guidelines that they provide for screening for pediatricians, and I think also for nurse practitioners, in terms of what they would refer on. So when we say that the milestones change, what we actually mean is that the screening procedure changed, not the milestones of what we would expect to see in
Mm,
like normative development. And I also just want to like point out that often when we talk about milestones, there's like this kind of tension between parents and clinicians. Like, why do you have to push on milestones? Let my child just be who they want to be. And there is something to this. There's no denying that some children will just be like really active within their temperament, and some children will be just a little bit more sluggish in terms of getting towards those motor milestones, but they'll be much higher in social milestones or things like this. And we're not saying that everybody has to like be a square peg in a round hole, or maybe it's the other way around. We're not saying that at all. But what we use is we use these things as kind of a guideline for us to say, what kind of soil and water does this flower need to thrive? And that's really
mm,
what we're thinking of as our children, not necessarily, especially when we're just, playing around with milestone ideas. We're not immediately saying diagnosis or anything like this. We're not putting labels. We're really just trying to understand, what does this child need to thrive, and getting a better picture of that from how they are developing and that trajectory that they're following. So I think we can take a little bit of the sensitivity off of this topic as well. I feel like sometimes it brings a lot of tension, maybe because there is this portion of social media where us as therapists or clinicians are like advocating that we weren't involved in the committee of the CDC that decided on these screening procedures at all. So there's that side of us wanting to like say, this must be like this, and this milestone is the most important. But in terms of that being received as a parent, I think you don't necessarily need to be too caught up in terms of the advocacy or feel that there's a lot of pressure on milestones. It's more about like really watching these children and how they thrive. The main point of really what we were wanting to share today is that as the screening procedures that we really rely on as families have changed slightly, we really want that the health promotion strategies and the prevention strategies go up. Um,
mm, mhm.
I think that was something that, Kaylee, did you feel like that came through really clearly in the interviews?
Absolutely. And just seeing it as a whole picture of it's not just a checklist. We're not just, our babies are not just checklists, like you said, really looking at them as a whole child and not just looking for impairments or things that they are not doing, but looking at where they are thriving and leaning into that. I saw something so interesting, and I'm probably going to misquote it. It was a reel, but it was saying if your child is struggling with math, but is excelling in horseback riding, you should invest in a horseback instructor rather than a math tutor. And it's, that can kind of get hairy when we're talking about milestones and stuff, but just meaning I think we focus so much on worrying about where our children are lacking rather than also acknowledging their huge wealth of strengths. And then saying, you know what, it's okay. My child cannot excel in every realm of development because they are their own unique individual person, just like we are. And we have our own strengths in areas where we may need more support. And so, looking at it in that holistic picture of how can these guidelines help me to know where I may need to get additional support? And like you said, more water for the soil or more sunshine, but not in a way that I'm going to then panic and think this flower will never grow, So I love that you made that
Absolutely.
clarification.
Yeah, and I think like if we're really taking in the idea of health promotion, right, then we're looking at our children and not just in terms of specific milestones, but we're looking at them in terms of like, oh, I had this thought so clear in my mind and now it's slipped from my mind. We're basically looking at them in terms of like we want that any door that they possibly would want to push on and open when they get older, that possibility would be there. And this
Mhm.
time of the little years, specifically the first year of life, but also this extends into especially the toddler years, is the most foundational for our children's development. So when we rely solely on like the what we are being advertised about, and we think that that is the good health promoting lifestyle for a baby, we can often be very much misled. And I think that that is why, for me personally, I'm so excited about the summit, because we want to bring to the forefront of your understanding as a parent, but also as a clinician that is looking at a holistic child, the evidence and really the best that we know in terms of what lifestyle really will support this child above just like one specific practice. Yes.
Yeah, I love it. Agreed completely.
So tomorrow we are going to be talking in our live about health promotion and really like looking more at this holistic picture of development, which we're excited to get into. As we said before, your questions, your comments, your thoughts, we want to hear them. I think like often we come to these summits and we feel like an attendee, but actually one of our goals is also to really like create space for dialogue and to create space for change in this little corner of the internet that we have for this week. So thank you for being with us. And if you have questions, thoughts, even after the live finishes off, this thread here in the YouTube comment box is here for you. We will be sure to be answering you. I'm going to be here with you on the live, typing away frantically like I can never do when I'm speaking. So we will definitely get to your questions. And then on the final day of the summit, on day 4, on Thursday, we are going to have a Zoom wrap-up call where we're going to give you also time to really share and to make this more of a group experience and a group learning time. But I think that is it for us for today. So Kaylee, do you want to just wrap us up with some thank yous? And yes.
Yeah, reminders about important things to know. Thank you again to our sponsor for today's live, the Upseat. We love this company, adore them. Whether you are a parent or a professional, we know that your little one's life will be benefited by their products. So we're super excited to share them. Don't forget to comment and to follow them at the link below to enter to win either the Upseat or the Upseat Boost. Just a reminder though, you have 24 hours for each day's talk on the free ticket, excuse me. So you'll have from 8 a.m. Central on day 1 to 8 a.m. Central on day 2 to watch all of those interviews for free. but we cannot recommend enough upgrading to that VIP ticket, especially during this week before the price goes up. After the summit has completed, that price does go up. And we feel like this is just such an incredible value. If you're a parent or a clinician, to be able to go back and listen to these interviews again. We think we're processing them all in real time, but so many of these speakers have such incredible takeaways that we don't want you to miss out on or be questioning after the fact. So upgrading to the VIP ticket is a great option. It's the most cost effective. It's going to be this week before the price goes up at the end of the summit. And that also gets you that certificate of learning that you can use for CEUs as well. So we look forward to you joining us, whether it be on the free or the VIP ticket. What I love about VIP is being able to listen in podcast form. I really struggle with online learning personally. It's hard for me to sit and just watch. And so I loved in these past years and with Holly's Toddler Play Conference, I have loved just being able to pop in my headphones or put it on in the car, and then I'm getting continuing education units. Like, how amazing is that? And we can be moving our bodies or washing our dishes or whatever we need to be doing and feeling like we are also tackling that piece of our personal or professional life. So thank you so much for joining us on day one. We can't wait to hear what you thought, and we look forward to seeing you on day two.
Bye, everyone. And don't forget to come and comment in that box, get your name in the hat, and also go and follow our sponsor. And I'll be here with you on the keyboard. Thanks, everyone. Bye.